Hello, Mr. Choose here with Bare Algebra. This is Unit 9, the 5th topic, and we're calling this Lesson C. We're going to use the quadratic formula. Well, here's the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. It is a shortcut formula. So if you like this stuff, then give it a thumbs up, like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, forward this to your friends, share it with people, and say, hey, Mr. Chu wants to help us. So anytime you're dealing with the quadratic formula, the first thing you have to do is write it in standard form. I've got it in green up here. Then in blue, you identify A, B, and C in the formula, and then you use this formula. So this is the way my videos work if I'm doing a regular bare algebra lesson video. I give a couple example problems. We work through them. You can always pause the video, see if you can do them on your own, see if you get the right answer, then start it up and check them. And at the very end, there are 2 problems you can work on. And then there'll be another video that has those 2 problems in it. So let's go ahead and let's look at the first problem in 905C. All right, the first problem is x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. All right, the first thing I have to do is look at number 1 requirement, write in standard form. Well, what is the standard form of a quadratic? Well, it's ax squared plus bx equals 0. Plus c equals 0, sorry. Forgot that plus c, and that would have messed us all up. All right, so I have to identify what is A, what is B, and what is C here, which is my step 1. So the A is the number in front of the x squared. Well, there is no number here, so that means A equals 1. So I'm going to write it over here somewhere. And then B is the number in front of the x. It's not 2, it's minus 2, which is negative 2. And if you mess up any of these, your answer will not be right in the quadratic formula. And then the C is not 15, it's minus 15, which is negative 15. So there's my A, B, and C that I'm going to use in this formula. All right, so now let's do that. So I've got my x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You ever wondered how teachers remember things like that? It's because I teach and taught my students to sing a little song in their head, and when I write it, I'm singing that same song. Because songs have a way of allowing you to remember them. All right, so now let's just plug it in. I've got to figure out what my negative b is, so I'm going to put negative, and then whatever b is, I'm going to put in these parentheses. Well, that's a negative 2. See how that kept me from making a mistake with my negative sign? Plus or minus the square root of whatever b is here, I'm going to square it. Negative 2 squared minus 4. I'm going to put my a in here and my c in here. So my a in this case is a 1, and the c is a negative 15. All over 2 times a, and a is 1. All right. So now I'm just going to take and extend this with an equal sign because I'm just going to simplify this. The opposite of a negative 2 is a positive 2. Plus or minus, that means there's going to be 2 roots, possibly 2 roots. And incidentally, the root is where the graph of this quadratic crosses the x-axis. It's the x-intercept. Underneath the square root, I've got negative 2 squared, which is negative 2 times negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. minus 4 times 1, which is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 15 is positive 60. All over 2 times 1 is 2. So x equals 2 plus or minus 4 plus 60 is 64, and the square root of 64 is 8. I'll just go ahead and put square root of 64 here for those that maybe still don't quite understand what I'm doing. So now that's going to equal 2 plus or minus, the square root of 64 is 8 over 2. Okay? So now I'm going to take and write the two answers here. So x equals 2 plus 8 over 2. 2 plus 8 is 10 over 2, which is 5. Or, there's going to be two answers here. X equals 2 minus 8 over 2. 2 minus 8 is negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. So we're saying that x is 5 and negative 3, which are those 2 points that graph will cross the x-axis. So let's plug them in here and see if that really is true. If these really are the solutions, it will solve this. So we will do x equals 5 first. So if x equals 5, then I know that 5 squared minus 2 times 5 minus 15, does that equal 0? 5 squared is 25. 2 times 5 is 10. 25 minus 10 is 15. 15 minus 15 is 0. All right. Now let's try x equals negative 3. I plug it in. So I put my negative 3, square that, minus 2 times negative 3 minus 15. Does that equal 0? Negative 3 squared means negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Minus 15. Does that equal 0? 9 plus 6 is 15. Minus 15 equals 0, and it checked. Both of them work. All right. Now we'll go to problem 2C and then give you your 2 practice problems you can work on to see if this makes sense. I have to put my divide by 2a there, so I did erase it accidentally. So problem 2C is 2x squared plus 11x equals 6. All right, now what's the first thing we have to do here in green? Write in standard form. Remember, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. This is not in standard form. So I have to take my original equation and do something to it subtract the 6 from this side and subtract the 6 from this side. This goes away and I have a 0 here, and it equals 2x squared plus 11x minus 6 equals 0. Now, is that in standard form? Yes. My a is a number in front of the x squared, so a in this problem is 2. The b is the number in front of the x, which is 11. And the c is negative 6. So there are my numbers. I'm going to plug into this and then figure out, do I have 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no solutions, which are all the possibilities in a quadratic. So now I substitute them in. So x equals negative b, which is the opposite of 11, plus or minus the square root of the b squared, so it's 11 squared, minus 4 times the a times the c. The a is 2, the c is negative 6, all over 2 times a, and a is 2. All right, now let's take this and let's simplify it. So, the opposite of 11 is negative 11, plus or minus 11 squared is 121. Use a calculator if you need it. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 6 is positive 48. 2 times 1 is 2. Or 2 times 2 is 4, sorry. So x equals negative 11 plus or minus the square root of 169 over 4. So this equals negative 11 plus or minus square root of 169 is 13. Use a calculator to find that, over 4. So we know there are 2 solutions here, which means the graph crosses the x-axis in 2 places. So it's negative 11 plus 3 over 4, and negative 11 minus 13. It's plus 13 over 4. I'd put a 3 there. Over 4. So x equals, that ends up being 2 over 4, which is 1/2. And x equals negative 24 over 4, which is negative 6. So we're saying that the solutions are (1/2) and 6. So let's do the 1/2 first. So if x is 1/2, it's 2 times 1/2 squared plus 11 times 1/2 equals 6. So this is 2 times 1/4 plus 11 halves equals 6. So this is 1/2 plus 11 halves, and we're saying, does that equal 6? Well, that's 12 halves. Does 12 halves equal 6? Yes. That means it is a solution. All right, now let's do the second one, which is 6. So if x equals 6, then I have 6 squared plus 11 times 6. 2 times 6 squared, sorry. 2 times 6 squared plus 11 times 6. That can't be right. That's because it's a negative 6. See, I looked at it and I knew it didn't work out. So this is a negative 6 here. That was a typo, a mistake I made. And you see how my check allowed me to correct it? So this is a negative 6 squared, and this is a negative 6 here. Does that equal 6? That's why we check problems. So 2 times 36 plus negative 66, does that equal 6? So this is 72 plus negative 66, does that equal 6? It sure does. So what does that mean? That means we did it correctly. All right, so now I'm going to put a couple challenge problems up here, and I challenge you to get out a piece of paper right now and try them. Pause the video, try them right now, and then while it's still fresh in your mind, on the end screen, which is right at the end of the video, there'll be a link up here, and it would be to 9.05b in my playlist, in my list of videos that you find after you subscribe to me, and you would see the worked solutions to those problems. So I'll put the challenge problems up here, and they were off of the video I did earlier today, and they are worked out step by step. Problem 1b, which was in lesson 9.05b, x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. And problem 2b, 2x squared minus 17x equals negative 8. So pause the video now, try them, and then when you start it back up, there'll be a link up here that has these worked. There'll be a playlist over here. Up here in the top corner will be another video. Down here will be a subscribe button or another video. So make sure you like this video if it helps you. Comment, and if you comment, I'll answer your comment. And I will answer with an understandable mathematical answer. Tell your friends that I'm Mr. Chu, and you have found some videos. My curriculum's called Bare Algebra, and tell them that this teacher wants to help them learn the math. So I'm Mr. Chu, and I look forward to helping you with algebra, and I'll see you in the next video.